Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning, good evening, depending on where you are. I am Kumar Datatrayan from Agile Meridian, and we are live interviewing Halldor. Not the Halldor from Game of Thrones, but Halldor, the innovator AI bot creator, that Halldor. Halldor, would you mind introducing yourself?
Yes, thank you. I'm Halldor actually from Norway, but now living in Sweden, and I'm an enterprise agile coach. And Kumar and I have taken the same trainings by Xscale some years ago, and so we have some common interest and things that we work with. And I have been working with different companies around the world last years, and now for, let's say, 2023, I really seen the opportunity of working with AI as my co-pilot, so to speak, in what I'm doing. So that's why I'm here today, I think.
So Halldor, tell me a little bit more about that. So this, of course, this interview is really to learn more about how you created this Scrum Master bot and what that's meant to the companies that you install these bots in. And so we want to delve into that. But how did you get started? Maybe we can start there.
How I got into using AI as the main tool, or
right?
Yeah, because I saw that the trend in the market and in the budgeting nowadays, the kind of the way to go is more for less. That means that companies get less money but need to do more. And I wanted to contribute to that in my way, and that's why I started thinking of this AI tool, ChatGPT, to see if I could do something with that to help me give more value to my customers. Then, so that's the origin of this AI team. Actually, not only a Scrum Master, but a team.
So maybe you can talk a little bit more about that. What was that process like to develop the AI team, as you put it, and specifically the Scrum Master bot?
I realized that most of my time as a Scrum Master, when I was hired as that, was to arrange meetings and do some summaries and get some statistics, reports, and so on. So I was thinking, could that be done by the AI? So I didn't have to do that, so I could concentrate on coaching the team in addition to be a Scrum Master, or should I concentrate on just doing the kind of, for me, boring stuff then instead? So that's why I was trying out this to see.
Okay, so can you describe the process? What does it take to create a Scrum Master bot?
It takes some knowledge about writing a prompt, an initial prompt, and a lot of prompting afterwards to train the team in the direction you really want to do. And the process was that I just started with asking ChatGPT how it could help me being a Scrum Master, and then from that building up the prompt to be more specific and with a lot of background information and so on. And after a while, I saw that now it's kind of working the way I want, but there was no kind of feedback or knowledge about the different businesses that I worked in. So I had to train it individually to the teams that I was working with in different companies as well. So it started with the Scrum Master, and then I added the admin persona to do the summaries and sending out emails and so on after our meetings, and eventually also a data analyst to keep track of what we are doing and how long it took and all the waiting time and so on. So then I realized that I needed to add task management as well into the chatbot to be really effective and see the value of it. And eventually I also wanted this Scrum Master to be more like a human, so to speak, to run all the meetings. So then I had to train it to be the facilitator of every meeting that we have. That could be a daily, that could be a retrospective, that could be a sprint planning, whatever. And then I needed to modify the prompts and train it along the way. Then.
All right, so you said a lot there, and it's a little mind-blowing to me. So when you say AI team, is that what you're saying? It's a Scrum Master, it's a data analyst, it's an admin.
Yeah.
It's all of these different personas that you had to train. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. So the personas are these three, and then I work as a team coach and in a lot of cooperation with the product owner in this case. So the two of us is kind of working with this team as our co-facilitators when working with the team members that actually do something in the team. Then so we use it on a big screen beside us and have all people talking to the AI team to update the tasks or whatever it is. So
excellent. So we have a few people online viewing this right now. So if you have any questions, just send them to me. I will see them, and I'll be able to ask those questions to Halldor here, and we can get them answered. I personally have some questions. Yeah. So you've got this chatbot that you've trained in with these different personas, and it is. I'm assuming this is a chatbot, and so your human team that makes up the Scrum team is interacting asynchronously with the chatbot. Is that how this is working today?
Yeah. When we first set this up by a customer, we had some constraints, and that was that they were kind of afraid of sharing data first of all, with a good reason. And they wanted to run this in a safe environment. So we had a kind of a sandbox that we used when trying this out. And we were aware of that this would then cause a lot of manual working. But initially, this was to try it out and see. Yeah. And the company didn't want any governance of plugins or add-ons or whatever, so we had to stick with the ChatGPT only. But we soon saw that me typing all the data into it was kind of time consuming. So instead we installed an extension for Chrome, Google Chrome, which we could use to talk to the chat bot then instead. The only thing we had to do, since it was not speak recognition in it, we needed to tell ChatGPT that now it's Halldor talking, now it's another one, and so on. But then we at least didn't have to write it all down. So we could see if there was any value in it.
And did the chatbot speak verbally back to the team?
Yeah, you can choose that either if it talks back or just to type the answers. But we chose to have it talk to us instead. So
okay, that is quite amazing. So you mentioned having to input data and train this bot, especially the different personas, the different functions that it had authority over. How did that work? I mean, you mentioned something about wait times and task times and task list, if you will. Did you connect the chatbot with whatever your project management solution was in that company?
No, not in the beginning, because as I said, we were not allowed to have any interactions with other systems in the beginning. So we had to kind of first of all, then when we had some tasks in Jira, we also had these tasks in a smaller version in ChatGPT then. So we had to update it there.
So you
The
had to do
hardest,
that manually, or how did that work?
yeah, in the beginning we did that manually, but
Okay.
later on we just spoke to ChatGPT then, and
Oh,
some of the hardest thing to kind of learn or unlearn, if you want to, was that you didn't have to walk through every field and say that this is a task that has this headline and this description and assigned to and so on. You could just say that to ChatGPT, that I wanted a new task with Halldor as an SNE that would move all the, let's say, um, all the personas from an old AD system to Azure AD, in example.
that's
Uh,
great.
and it's going to include like 2,000 people or something. Then it would create this task into the fields that we have defined within ChatGPT. Then. So,
And how long did that process take? Sort of getting ChatGPT, the bot, in sync with whatever your Jira, I guess, your tool that you're using.
yeah, we did a kind of a big effort one day to get all things over
Okay.
to ChatGPT, and then it was kind of easy because when the AI Scrum Master then asked us what we have done in each of the tasks, we could just speak back to it, and it would update it itself.
Okay.
And one kind of a bonus effect that we could see then is that if you, let's say, use the example of the IDs that should move to Azure AD, and that was like 4,000 people. And if the update was then that today I have kind of moved 350 identities, then ChatGPT could add that to the or the different from the total amount of identities and so on itself, instead of updating the fields with the numbers then. So
That's really quite interesting and amazing. So initial it was a bit of work getting the systems in sync, but then after that, it was just through the stand-ups and other ceremonies that it was able to keep track of
yeah.
the work that was being completed.
Yeah,
Correct?
because when you as a team member working with different tasks during the day, you are of course updating the Jira tasks. But instead of walking through all of them in the stand-up, we just talk to ChatGPT to update the tasks in ChatGPT with the same thing, and all of the members kind of remember what they have been doing last day or so. So that was no problem at all. And of course the data was needed to get the data analyst to give us good reports and having track of lead times and so on, especially when we run sprint planning and so on with this AI team. Then it could kind of suggest the tasks that we should take on in this sprint, and that we had some kind of slack in the end, that we could either have time for tasks that took longer than estimated, and also new task that was kind of urgent or whatever during the sprint time. So.
Okay, so hold on a second. I'm totally flummoxed. So you're saying the Scrum Master bot, the chat bot, would suggest, just based on verbal commands in the various Scrum meetings, hey, you've got some extra capacity, you can take on some more, or hey, you've maybe taken on too much, don't take on so much. It was actually able to do that.
Yeah, yeah, and the most and the best effect was that when we told the AI team to start a sprint planning, it went through the backlog for us, and with if we had then had some prioritization of a project or other things that we need to prioritize, it would suggest that in this sprint we're going to do these 4 tasks, but then we don't have time for let's say technical depth or whatever. So we can then choose which one we want to take into the sprint, and tell by verbal conversation that we will skip the task number 24 in example.
That's amazing.
And then it would rewrite and tell us that if we remove that dependency to another task could be affected, or we could get more done by the other things that we have in the backlog. So
Yeah.
kind of run the meeting for us, as they did with daily stand-up as well.
So Jim has a question. Jim Sparks, he's saying, I've used async formats for daily stand-up. But Jim, this isn't about asynchronous. This is synchronous. The team, the human team, and the AI team are synchronously, the AI team is synchronously conducting the session, the daily stand-up or the planning or the retro. That's what I'm understanding, right, Halldor?
Yeah, that's right.
And maybe, Halldor, you can talk a little bit more about how the Scrum Master team, or the AI team, as you call it, facilitates, say, a retrospective based
Yeah,
on
yeah,
Jim's question.
yeah. When we tell the AI team to start a retrospective, in example, the Scrum Master will then wish all of the people welcome, and we will run a retrospective of this and this format that I can train it to do. And the most common is, of course, what was gone well and who didn't, and so on. But then it will then start asking each and everyone, do you have any thoughts of what's have gone well or not so well, and so on. And then it will kind of run through all the participants, of course, and we have to say that now we're finished. We have no more to fill in that column, so to speak. And when we say that now we're coming to what we should do, what are the next steps, what are the tasks that we're going to bring along and into our backlog or whatever, then the chat bot or the AI team, Scrum Master, will then suggest some topics to work with. And then we can say that just speak to him. Okay, then Halldor will be assigned to the thing that gonna invite the big boss to speak with us or whatever. So it will assign all the tasks for us and put it into the backlog first of all. So and then we tell end retrospective, and then the AI admin will give a kind of a brief summary that we can copy and put into a mail and send to all team members or whoever wants to know.
Okay, so that is quite an amazing feat, I would say. So the AI team essentially facilitates all of your meetings, and provides reports from all of your meetings, provides summaries.
Yeah.
I'm assuming at the retrospective, it collects all the information. It then provides what the team agreed to do in the next sprint in terms of improvements. Right?
Yeah.
How do you then move that information into your whatever your normal tracking system is, Jira or otherwise?
For now, we are doing that kind of manually back then, but we don't need to kind of update the tasks with the summary or the reports, because when we know that we are in sync with the Jira board, we can use the report from AI and just copy it and send it to whatever. And one person in that team has now started to let ChatGPT put the report into code for VBA code into PowerPoint to make the slide that we want to report on. And that's on his own initiative. That's not something that I have told him to do or that I have thought of actually, but he's starting to do that now to see if we can automate it even more there.
Right. So that's quite an accomplishment already. So are you still working with this company?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. And so tell me about the genesis of this. So, obviously we're talking about a human, right? That's now ceded his job in a way to an AI bot. How did this come about? What was the reason, I guess, that the company decided, hey, let's go down this path?
The reason was kind of a on my initiative, and I asked them to be the first public office to be kind of showing off that they are starting to use AI instead of being left behind, and that we would run this in a safe environment in the beginning and see how it goes. And we had kind of decided that we will have two retrospectives of it after 3 months and after 6 months, just to have the possibility to say that no, we don't want to go further, or let's try for 3 more months and see. So now they're kind of instead of getting from fear and resistance to be proud of it now instead, because there was no cost of employees. There was no one who was kind of fired because of this. Because I was hired as a Scrum Master in the beginning, but turned out to be more like a team coach afterwards, after I have implemented this into 3 teams actually. So from getting from fear and resistance to kind of bragging about we are the first public office to use AI in a daily basis and so on. And so now we are kind of working as promoters within the company to get even more teams to to make use of this AI team then. So we have duplicated our prompt, so to speak, to the other teams as well.
So there's a question from the audience. What is the name of this AI tool or bot? I know we've talked about it, but for the sake of this question, would you elaborate on what you're using?
Yeah, I'm using ChatGPT only, with no add-ins or plugins, only the text commands for Google Chrome, just to speak to it. So the name of the bot is kind of that we call it just the AI team, but that could be whatever. So it's a chat in ChatGPT only, and that we have kind of duplicated to more chat threads then into ChatGPT. I just named them the name of the teams that we are working with.
Yeah. So in a way, this chat AI team that you created, in a way, it hasn't taken away their job, but it's allowed the Scrum Masters to focus on something else.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah. First of all, the company didn't have any Scrum Master or Agile coaches from the beginning, but they saw that in the same matter that more for less, they wanted to be us consultants as team coaches and include kind of being a Scrum Master and an Agile coach into the same role, so to speak. So there was no people was fired or moved or anything, but it was just kind of a new employee that could be this team then instead.
Excellent. A few more questions are coming from the field. Is it GPT 3.5 or 4? And another one, have you done any experimentation with Bard to compare results?
First of all, it's 4.0, the paid version. And the reason for that is just one thing, and that was we made this task management. That means that when we was telling ChatGPT to add a task or something, or move it from backlog to in progress, we wanted to set the starting date to the current date. And the difference between 3.5 and 4 was that 3.5 was kind of writing current date in letters, and 4.0 actually put the actual date in it. So the data analyst could use that data as well. So that's the only reason why we use 4.0 then. So.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Okay.
But I haven't done anything with Bard yet, and I haven't compared or something. But the prompt is very general, so it can easily be just copied over to Bard as well if you want to try.
Yeah, I would expect so. All right. So maybe we can get into some of what you've learned. So Do you think that bots like this, AI bots, can replace a Scrum Master entirely, or is there still a role for the human?
Yeah, I think that there are two roles for the human, at least at this time. One is to get this bot started in the morning. That's the first one, and the second one is that you really need humans to kind of be critical to what's coming out of this bot as well, because it's not enough to take my prompt and use it in every team, because you have to add some more information to it yourself. Let's say, which company are you working for, what are their main products, what are you doing, how do they work, and so on, to get the most out of it. And then you have to see if what's coming out is actually something that you can use, because it differs a lot what's coming out from this. And it tends to forget something as well, so you have to remind it from time to time. And that's my brain, or the people that using this prompt is doing that. So
That's pretty good. What about some of the risks, concerns around using AI in the workplace like this, right? So what risks do you see?
first of all, of course, it's the privacy and the loss of data, if you want to put it that way. But now, when ChatGPT Enterprise has come up, it might be better. But this company and I have no intention of buying that, because that's pretty expensive. So hopefully some data privacy and so on will be better in the next version coming up now, these next 2 weeks of ChatGPT. So maybe some of the risks are gone there, but also the main risk is kind of the human risk to rely too much on what's coming out yet. So we have seen some output that wouldn't fit into today's situations, because of the data that ChatGPT has that ends in September 21, right? So there has been happening a lot since then, but we don't see much of it, but we see it from time to time, because this is not affected by the world situation, or the money situation in the different countries and so on. But some things we see tending to be loss of data or something that needs to be controlled by humans. So.
But I suspect that those things will get resolved with time, right? I mean, there's going to be future versions of Chat and Bard, and Claude, and all of these tools that are coming out that are maybe more connected to current versions of what's out there. Where do you see this going?
I see this as a tool. I must say that I'm not afraid of using AI, and I will use it as a tool for myself, more or less, but also giving more value to my customers as well, to have some benefits from others that don't have used this or want to use this, because there's a lot of people yet still that haven't been talking about this, or haven't used it, or see the benefits of it, look at it as a threat, or something that will steal their jobs and so on.
Yeah.
And one kind of wording that's it's not that old, but it has been old in the AI community, is that it will not replace your job, but it will replace the jobs to those who don't use AI. So that's why I want to be in front of this, and learn for myself, of course, but also do more value to my customers. So.
There's a question from the audience. Any breaches since you've been using Chat? And I think you answered this. I don't believe there have been, because you're using it in a very limited fashion. You're not exposing it to your data, except what you've already fed to the bot. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. And as long as we run this in a kind of a safe environment, and also agreed on that we will not tell any sensitive data to it. So it doesn't matter if it says get the hold of that we are working 3 days longer with one task or another. That's doesn't
Yeah.
matter. But we have to be kind of aware of it and have some kind of internal rules to make sure that there's no data leaks or whatever there. So.
Oh, I want to probe one of the things you just said. You want to be in front of this. You don't fear it. It's a tool. You want to stay in front of it so that you can utilize it and improve your own understanding of how best to use AI and in support of your clients. And that's a great place to be, right? You are one that is not going to be disrupted by some new technology like AI. You're going to stay in front of it. What do you say to companies that have, and we shared a statistic before we went live about some companies that have no plans to use AI, or maybe they haven't looked at it at all. What would you say to them?
What would I say? I
To
didn't
those
get.
companies that haven't used it
Yeah,
yet?
yeah, okay, yeah. That if you're not using or taking on AI now, you if you just sit on the fence and see the train passes by now, the AI train, it's harder to get ahead later on and get in the same position that you are able to do now, because
Yeah.
even if it's just 1 year old something, it has kind of left the station. So now it's time to jump on the train and be a part of it, because there's going to be a lot more to do if you want to get a hold of it later on in competition with others that have already jumped on the train and started. So my advice is to now take the step to either learn or have someone to tell you what you can do with it. Because one thing that is very important in this AI world that gonna need more attention in the future is that your creativity is the main reason why you cannot do anything in it. So if your creativity is lost, you have no chance to get along. Because
So what would you tell people? Yes, of course, you want to learn. You want to get on the train before it leaves the station. But what are the steps? What would you recommend people do to learn how to? It's easy enough learning how to use ChatGPT. You just type prompts and so on. But it seems more advanced than that.
Yeah, it is, and of course you can use ChatGPT to get your recipes of what you have in your refrigerator and get some good quotes and so on. But you have to think business, and you have to think your business, and see what that can do for you. That means that you might just start with a simple kind of brainstorming, or invite someone that has kind of used it or seen what it can do, and help you get your kind of roadmap or plan to use AI, so you at least have it on your map, or where you are going. And if you're not, um, your competitors will. There's no doubt about that. So you have to have a plan, and so that's the first step, and then you have to do some trainings, and most of all, try it out and see what it can do for you.
Is there a training you recommend that people go through?
I'm setting up my own training based on this, but maybe it's too wrong to kind of promote that. But within a few weeks now, 2 or 3 weeks, I will have a training up and running, and so of course I
I'm
would
sure
like to.
people would be interested in taking a course from you, Halldor. I certainly am,
Yeah.
only because you've had practical experience and success in implementing something that doesn't take jobs away. I'm going to make this more equal here. It doesn't take jobs away. It enhances the work of the humans, the Scrum Masters, so they can focus on what they should be focusing on, which is coaching the team.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's a C, but if there's a C, it takes the mundane, sort of repetitive tasks out of the hands of the humans
Mm.
and into the hands of a machine that can do those things
Mm.
much more efficiently, much more quickly, to allow the
Exactly.
humans to gain more insight from that data.
Yeah. Yeah. That you can do more of the fun stuff instead of all the boring stuff.
Right, exactly. The fun stuff, right? So
Mm.
humans can focus on the fun stuff. So
Mm.
speaking
Fun
of which,
and the important stuff I would add to that.
yeah, exactly. So speaking of which, what important fun stuff are you working on now?
That's kind of getting the teams to get more creative, as I said, more experimental, and of course psychological safety and so on, that will be needed in the teams that we can use our time on. So we have a lot of fun workshops and so on to gain this team going as kind of high performing team with not necessarily have a lot of things to do all the time, but
Yeah.
we have some spare time to do kind of the fun stuff then, and build team competences and team spirits and team thinking, so to speak. So
Now you mentioned you were creating a something for just for yourself to enhance your ability to coach
yeah.
leaders. Can you
Yeah.
talk a little bit about that?
Last weekend, this weekend, I set up kind of my own leadership coaching team with a lot of personas in it. It's kind of 7 or 8 personas in it, with different views on leadership. It's all from command and control to tight, loose, tight to what we know, the Camelot model, the X scale, the descaling manifesto, and so on, just to give me good answers to the questions that my customer has. When I am coaching a leadership team or a leader itself, I can kind of put on the questions or comments to this chat bot that I have built and get different answers or comments on behalf of what they are thinking. So if the leadership model is kind of a command and control, I will get a different answer from that one instead of the one who has kind of a open leadership philosophy. So, and then I can use those answers to see where the customer is standing at the moment. And if I see that I can map out that this person or personas has kind of a command and control way of thinking, it might help me to get them into whatever they want. If they want to be an open leader or inviting leader or whatever. So when I ask this bot a question now, I get like 7 or 8 answers on the same question that I am putting in.
So if I'm understanding, you've trained a group of personas to, each persona has a different set of characteristics, if you will: command
Yeah.
and control, tight, loose, tight, leadership as a service, open leadership models, whatever they might be. So basically, you're asking a question and you're getting 7 or 8 answers from your AI team of leaders
Yeah,
that
exactly.
that exhibits a persona.
Yeah.
And it almost like it's giving you what your client may give you as a response to that question, how they might respond based on whatever assessment that you've done to ascertain where your client is at the current moment.
Yeah, yeah. Because I can ask a lot of questions to my client and get more or less a good or kind of difficult answer back. So I might not don't know what he's meaning or what way is he on, where does he want to go, and so on. Then I can use this team to kind of giving me the feedback as a coach to see that when he answers like this, it's more like a command and control in example. Then I can kind of speak on the same level with him and then make sure that we set goals for where we are going together and openly use this my personal AI coach then to see if he also resonate with what they are setting up. Because I haven't tried this with a client yet, but I will try that first time on next Saturday, I think. We have set up a meeting just to see if this can be used for that sake then. So.
I had a conversation a couple of weeks ago with an ex-Air Force officer. He's currently a professor of military strategic studies, and your approach with the AI personas, is very similar in some ways to what he was talking about in terms of the red teaming approach.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, the red teaming approach is looking at something from many different perspectives and being able to help the leaders that you're serving consider something that maybe they haven't thought about. In your case, you're using these personas as your own personal team of leaders to help you maybe perceive something that you may have not thought about to help your client.
Exactly. And also get a different views, and I'm hoping that these personas also can discuss with each other in the end.
Yeah.
To kind of argue for the one or the other way of thinking. So I can use that answers as well to give me more skills and competencies as well when I speak to other leaders further on.
That's excellent. Well, I'm going to open the floor to see if there's any questions from our audience. We'll be ending here in a few minutes. I don't see any new questions. Anything you'd like to share before we end our broadcast, Halldor?
Yeah, if any of you wants to try out this prompt, I can share a link maybe in the chat. Is that?
Absolutely. So what we'll do is we'll get the link from you, Halldor, and we'll include it in the notes from today's session.
That's good, because I'm happy to share that with a link to that prompt, so you can download it and try it out. But please be aware that you will get the most out of it if you train it further on with the different kind of cases that you work with. So duplicate it many times and train it to the different companies or assignments that you have and so on, to see if there's any value to it. And I have seen the value of it. The prompt that I am offering is the general one. And I might add something that I have seen from kind of important, because in ChatGPT you can kind of set up your own configuration that you are kind of this person and you want different answers in a specific tone and so on. That might be something that can affect what you are getting out from this. Because I haven't set up anything, because I want it to be as good as possible then. So I will set no filters, so to speak, then to the answers that I get. So
that's amazing.
That's just a tip.
Yeah, I would personally like your leadership bot prompt.
I will put that up on the same link later on. So
okay, that sounds great. Yeah, because I'd love to be able to get some different answers to questions that I have, or maybe my clients have, or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
I would love to have you back on here, Halldor, maybe in a few months, just to see how you're doing, how you're progressing.
I'm still here, okay. Or replaced by an AI.
Well, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Maybe in 5 years. I don't know, but maybe not in 3 months.
Very good.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And I don't see any questions. It looks like a lot of people really enjoyed this talk. So if you're inclined, please just get in touch with Halldor. He's on LinkedIn. He's on all the social media channels. As I mentioned, I will post a link to the prompts that he's using to create the Scrum Master, the AI team bot.
Yeah.
And if you have questions on how to implement it, by all means, here's your guy. He can
Yeah.
help you.
Yeah, please reach out. I'm happy to help because I think this is not only a tool, but it's really fun to do. So please reach out if you have any questions.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. And we'll
Thank
see you
you.
all next time. Take
Yes.
care.